Shillingworth, a play for radio by Dave Patchett.
Shillingworth. It's June 17, 2022. A hot day. A day when tempers can become temperamental, even in towns where nothing ever seems to happen, such as Witney. Trevor Lessing was a resident of Witney. Trevor was a contented and compliant man who would never dream of striking his wife. So, on this day, when he felt the possibility of losing control, he jumped into his car and drove. Not recklessly, knowing that he was in something of a state, he was even more careful than usual. Trevor was a man of no ambition. He worked at Perrett's farm and packing station. He cleaned the onions and runner beans in a big tin bath, pleased to see his labours packed into the plastic trays and the tightly pressed cellophane that we have become accustomed to. Pleased to see his handiwork in Marks and Spencer's. Trevor didn't check his petrol gauge. It was the last thing on his mind. And he found himself standing helplessly on a lonely road somewhere in the Cotswolds. Half an hour passed slowly, but no cars passed at all. And then a fairly large green van came into view. He tried to wave for it to stop and was rather surprised when it did. The van's door slid open, something like the door to a shop.
Thanks for stopping. Can you give me a lift to somewhere I can get some petrol?
Sure, hop in. I'm Ursula. What's your name, son?
Trevor Lessing.
From?
Witney. I like the sliding door. And your engine, it's soundless. Is this an electric vehicle?
Not at all, dear boy. We don't get anything from the grid. Did you know that if you could pressure a cup of water enough, it could, theoretically, send an ocean liner across the Atlantic?
No, I didn't know that. Can I ask, how is your van powered?
I gave you a clue. More than you deserve, perhaps.
Where are we going?
We're going to Shillingworth.
There's a garage there?
No, but we have a chemical plant which specialises in petroleum products. You'll get what you need in Shillingworth.
I've never heard of Shillingworth.
That's how we like it. Hidden in the Vale of Shillings, a law unto ourselves.
May I ask what you do, Ursula, for a living?
Ask whatever you like, dear. I'm practically an open book. I am Shillingworth's trader. I take our products out to the regional townships, mainly chemists. Then I buy from the same said places the goods that the citizens of Shillingworth require. Simple. Here we are. My Shillingford lock-up.
It's just a single lock-up. Where's Shillingworth?
Dear Trevor, such a troubled child.
I'm 28.
Like I said, so troubled. Look over there. The waters of life. The canal that encircles Shillingworth. Our town lies over that small hillock, just the other side of the waters. We are practically there already. Come, follow me to the bridge.
Am I going mad? I see no bridge, just a lone fisherman.
He's not a fisherman. There are no fish in these waters. Never has been. It's Mr. Bridge the Bridgeman. As we like to say, Bridge by name, and the bridge is his game. His rod is a cunning disguise. The reel is a bridge opening device. I have distribution work to do. Here's where I leave you in the capable hands of Citizen Bridge. Doubtless I'll bump into you later. Bridge, can you take Trevor over the bridge to Shillingworth and introduce him to the delights of our community? Oh, and he needs petrol.
I still can't see a bridge.
So impatient, lad. I have a device. See the little green button? Here, you can press it. What do you think of that, young Trevor?
I am 28. Oh, unreal. A thin material emerging out of the ground, making a curved pathway, and then disappearing into the ground on the other side of the waters.
There's a simple explanation. It's just a kind of reinvention of the wheel. It's a wheel, only with 15 degrees of its outer rim missing. And that is the part that we don't see, until it revolves around and becomes the bridge that we see before us. For the power of a revolution, we have to thank the revolutionary Oompa Loompas who push and shove beneath the ground. The Oompa Loompas are a bit like the children who used to be sent underground to work in the coal mines.
Did they? Wait a minute. I mean, you must be joking about the Oompa Loompas.
No flies in our Trevor. Yes, we got rid of them ages ago. They were eating all of our chocolate.
So, what does power this fabulous revolving bridge?
I'm not an engineer, but I've heard tell of something called 2HO.
I wonder what that could be.
I haven't got a clue, because I just gave it to you.
Is it strong enough to support our weight?
It's strong enough to support the weight of all that's wrong in the world. Let us cross the bridge without any more ado.
Looking down at the waters, I note that they have a certain redness about them.
We call it a certain rosiness, doubtlessly caused by a leak from a chemical plant.
An accidental.
In Shillingworth, nothing is accidental.
Now that we are on the other side, are we going to close the bridge, Mr. Bridge?
No, there's no one about. When Ursula has sorted out her logistics, she'll drive over the bridge and use her fishing reel gadget to disappear the bridge. Then she'll drive into town and distribute the goods to our shops.
At last, I can see the rooftops of Shillingworth. It really does exist.
Of course it does. Shillingworth onions don't tell lies. We're not allowed to. We are now at the beginning of our High Street. What's your first impression of our town, young Trevor?
Nice. Lovely little houses with random varieties of random pastel-coloured walls. Oh, and on the rise beyond the High Street, is it a Gothic church or even a cathedral?
It is indeed. A large church built in the 15th century by the noblest of artisans, the stonemasons of Malvern.
I can vaguely see, even from here, a statue above the arched main entrance, presumably of a saint.
Your eyes do not deceive you. The figure you perceive is that of Saint Germain.
I've read about him, a French aristocrat. He was said to have lived for more than a century.
He did, but so much longer than that. He still lives now.
Where?
Here, in Shillingworth.
This, I'm sorry, I cannot believe. Unless you mean figuratively lives.
Believe what you like, kid, but I'm not kidding. The bridge man has sworn to tell the truth.
Very well, Bridgeman. For now, I believe you. I'm in love with this town. It is truly amazing. All is so quiet and orderly, no traffic, the people contentedly going about their business without fuss or worry. Although, Mr. Bridge, you and Ursula and everyone else here are, well, you all look as if you're in your 60s. Where are the young people?
In Shillingworth, appearances are deceptive. Some of us are quite young. Some of us are quite old. Some of us are very old. And some of us are very, very old. If you find time to visit our church, Trevor, you would find that its graveyard contains very few graves. Mind you, we did lose one last week. Toby. Oh, poor Toby. Spelled Tobe. I myself am quite young. If I were to wrestle with you, I could easily snap you in half like a pretzel. So, be careful to fall on the right side of cheeky. We will have no truck of ageism in our egalitarian community.
I'll be careful, Mr. Bridge, not to cross you.
A joke, Mr. Trevor. Now you're getting into the swing of things.
Oh, strike me. What on earth is that building over there, shaped like a huge barn? It's covered in the strangest graffiti. Red, white and blue jacketed dogs, almost the size of horses.
Self-explanatory. Wait a minute. It's not explaining itself. I'll have to do it. It's the doghouse. Accurately portrayed by the graffiti is the new breed of dog that has been seeded here in Shillingworth. We call it the butcher's dog breed. The doghouse is where we do the seeding.
Are they as big as the portrayal?
Nearly as big as an horse and twice as strong.
Why the red, white and blue jackets?
Shillingworth is twinned with Shillingworth, which is an American base. The jackets symbolise the intertwined nature of the Union Jack and the Stars and Stripes.
How many butcher's dogs are in the doghouse?
I never get tired of your endless questions, except when I do. Many, but not as many as are in houses and shops. They make wonderful pets.
Sorry about the questions. Look, Mr. Bridge, fascinated by your town as I am, I need to get back to Whitney and my family. Where can I get my petrol?
All in good time, son. The petroleum is on the other end of the high street, in the chemical plant.
I'm looking down there now, and all I can see is shops and houses. The only plants are in the gardens.
That's because the chemical layout is underground in Shillingworth. Other citizens will guide you towards your gasoline path. Meanwhile, on the way, take a look at our shops and their original attractions.
I've noticed a few of them already. It is a strange paradox. Sometimes Shillingworth is 60 years ahead of time, and sometimes it is 60 years behind. The shops are full of novelties, quirky homemade arts and crafts, and homemade breads and cakes. Best of all are the antique shops. Oh, and goodness me, look at this one, Mr. Webb's Magic Emporium.
Yes, this shop is our pride and joy. Here you can buy a 2OH powered penny farthing, although it will cost a pretty penny. I can see, dear boy, but you won't be able to resist entering Mr. Webb's. Before you do, your paradox is easily explained. Here, we adopt the best of the future and the best of the past. And now, I have to return to the bridge. Others will help you with your petroleum problem.
Thank you, Mr. Bridge, for all your good and jovial information. Let's shake hands and say goodbye.
Here is my hand, although, perchance, we may bump into each other again.
Well, surely, when you let me across the waters on my way back.
Yes, well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So long, Trevor, and good luck.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm so pleased that you've come into my parlour. I am Isaac Webb, and you must be young Trevor.
Are you a magician, Isaac? It's magical how you know my name.
No, I'm not, unfortunately. That's more the preserver's cider, me dear wife. No, me young friend. Ursula visited a moment ago at the back entrance with provisions, and of course she told me about you. Strangers are rare hereabouts. Take a look around, and take your time. Time is a long time coming in Shillingworth.
Blimey, you really do have a penny farthing. What's this? Is it an ancient hockey stick?
No, son, it's an 18th century cricket bat. It's been signed by Frederick Spufforth, the demon Australian fast bowler. Handle it with care, young Trevor. It's worth a fortune.
Magic card tricks galore, to be sold only to those inside the magic circle. Oh, that lets me out then. Oh, a special magic wand with buttons on the handle that throws out colours.
Put that down at once, boy! Waving it about might set off an unfortunate chain of events. That's right, back where it belongs.
Sorry, Mr. Webb. wizard and witches' hats and robes, and, a bit weird this, shoes that have the appearance of being hooves. And here, red visors with pointy upright pointy ears. Admit it, Mr. Webb, some of these items are a little sinister. Who wears such devilish visors?
Oh, some racehorses wear 'em. They have a calming effect. And sometimes we put 'em on the butcher's dogs.
More worrying still is a whole bookshelf full of satanic ritual information. This includes, let me see, Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike.
Take care, Trevor. It's worth £500,000. On the inside cover, Albert's signature is still legible. I can assure you that our townsfolk's playing around with fancy dress, that's just a jolly good jape. I admit that we do have a so-called satanic coven in Shillingworth. Don't be such a square young man. We all have to get our kicks somehow.
It doesn't bother me that much. We have a coven in Whitney too. They parade at Halloween, and would appear to be harmless enough. Now this I have reason to be quite attracted to. A rather shabby golden hair. It has beady little eyes, not at all lifelike, and big buttons to represent the joints of its legs. May I stroke the fur?
You may.
Warm, slightly. I don't know, electromagnetic? How much, Mr. Webb?
Make me an offer, son.
£2.50.
Oh, dear boy, what you see around you is not a Whitney car boot sale. An offer so derisory, it's hilarious. Stay put while I fetch me wife to witness this comedy.
Pleased to meet you at last, Trevor, dear. My, what a fine specimen you are. I think I would like to eat you alive.
Oh, she surely would as well. Now, hear this, Mrs. Webb. Trevor has made an offer for the golden hair. Trevor?
£2.50.
Oh, it's too much. Far too much. Have the young people gone completely mad?
OK, I'll raise my offer. But first, let me tell you a story. My wife...
Such a comedian. Now he's doing an impression of Max Bygraves.
Who's Max Bygraves?
Oh, carry on, Trevor.
It's like a carry-on film.
Oh, wife, what?
Well, my wife, when she was a little girl, was fascinated by her mother's stories of the golden hair. It was produced from a hair-shaped moulding filled with pure gold. A painter, Kit Williams, hid the golden hair and put clues in a series of paintings. A book was written about it, full of sublime illustrations. It became an underground cult adventure to try to find the golden hair. My wife has that book, and, well, I want to buy her a present because I drove away this morning after we had an unfortunate dispute.
A dispute, boy? I don't like the sound of that.
I'm 28. Please, Mrs. Webb, stop calling me boy. I have fathered 2 kids. I've had the same job for 12 years. I'm a contented family man. I couldn't be more grown up.
What job is that?
I wash onions for Marks and Spencer's.
Oh, I see.
Touchy. I like a touchy man. However, I don't like disputes, especially not with Mr. Webb.
Oh, me neither. And not with Mrs. Webb. Now, Trevor, please announce to us your new offer.
I'm prepared to go way beyond the hair's true value. £25 is my final offer. Ursula.
Trevor, I see the tittering of the Webbs. I trust that they have welcomed you into their shop with our traditional friendliness.
We have indeed. Our merriment is not aimed at Trevor himself, but at his offer to buy the golden hair for £25.
To any stranger, that offer far exceeds what the hair appears to be worth.
Thank you, Ursula. I have to admit that I found the amusement of Mr. and Mrs. Webb to be a little insulting.
Well, we shouldn't insult you, young man. They should have explained In Shillingworth, we try not to tell lies, but we do enjoy the art of deception. The rag doll facade of the golden hair belies its true qualities. Beneath its skin are the advanced mechanics of the future. This hair can run at 50 miles per hour and leap 60 feet. Also, our golden hair is programmed to take part in certain township rituals. You wouldn't know, Trevor. How could you? That this golden hair is worth millions. It belongs to Shillingworth. It's not for sale. The Webbs are merely the major shareholders. The hair is, in itself, a corporation.
I understand. Ursula, about my petrol.
Plenty of time for that, dear. In a few minutes we will witness a grand event. An event that will excite our whole population. A grand event that no one in their right mind would choose to miss.
Hello, Ursula. Mr. and Mrs. Webb and Trevor are here, but it is almost time.
Mr. Bridge, how can you leave your bridge?
No one works when a happening comes. That's the law. All of Shillingworth lines both sides of the High Street.
Listen, the bells. Saint Germain rings the bells. Mrs. Webb, go to your butcher's dog. Put on the red visor and bring him in. Bridge, open wide the shop door. Everyone, keep the passage clear.
Trevor, observe the golden hair.
My lands, its eyes are lighting up. His ears are twitching. And now it's getting up, and now it's facing the shop door, like a sprinter on his marks.
The butcher's dog is ready.
Then let him off his leash.
The hare is running.
So is the butcher's dog.
Out we all go. The game is begun.
There
goes the hare, bounding along the concrete. The butcher's dog, barking mad down High Street. Hare leaps over water's shore. Drowning dog barks no more. The butcher's dog becomes the meat. The butcher's work becomes complete. Hurrah for the hare! Tonight is the feast at the table of Moor. The grapes of Bacchus, cushions on the floor. Drink the rosy wine, eat the rosy meat. Tonight we all dine, tomorrow we sleep.
Will the golden hare come back to us?
Of course it will. It will be the most applauded guest at the feast.
Ouch!
Someone catch him.
I got him. Can I give him the kiss of life?
Unnecessary, but I suppose so.
Thanks. Just in case.
It's 4 p.m. on the following day. The feast is over. I cannot describe the feast in any great detail. It was too salacious and in parts diabolical. Censorship hovers around every corner. I understand that you want to know what happened to Trevor, and in particular, what caused the ouch. To find some of the answers, we go to the house of Shillingworth's Dr. Sharp, a house that is large enough to be considered a small hospital. Trevor is in this house, lying in a bed, dressed in a white gown. He is fast asleep. In the waiting room are the usual suspects.
It's nice to see so many well-wishers. A lucky young man. I expect him to wake up soon, fully recovered and rebirthed.
He was such a nice, fresh-faced boy. It's a shame, really.
It had to be done. It's the law. The first shot was administered under the cover of the High Street crowd. It was merely a mild tranquilizer. When he was waking up, I delivered the second. an hallucinatory drug. It's made the boy high and happy, but only semi-conscious. When he wakes up, he will remember nothing of the feast. I gave the third injection just before he was put to sleep early this morning. This, of course, was the rebirth shot, just in case he had not eaten enough of the special food at the table of more. He will wake up to middle age, but as strong as an ox. In short, I did my duty.
You did, and well done. Say, everyone, wasn't the feast a great success?
I especially enjoyed watching Mrs. Webb sawing Mr. Webb in half, and then putting him back together.
For me, the golden hare was the star, doing wheelies on the penny farthing, and then spinning 33 plates on its nose. Best of all, though, donning a purple cloak and dancing the dark fantastic.
Hurrah for the hare!
Hurrah!
I noted that desire played her part. Some eyes, mainly male ones, were popping out of their heads when she performed the dance of the 7 veils.
That woman is a phenomena. She still has the body of a young Monroe. By the way, I was placed at the far end of a table of more, so I didn't see much of our young man. How did he take to the feast?
Oh, like bees to a hive, like a dog to a bone. He ate enough and drank enough too. At one point, he was getting over familiar with my precious Mrs. Webb. I had to sort him out.
How do you do that?
I introduced him to Desire. He was grinning from ear to ear when she took him off to a private room. That was the last I saw of him.
A shame. Mr. Webb spoils all my fun. Only joking.
Desire is very skillful in the bedroom.
How does Mr. Webb know that?
Oh, by reputation, Mrs. Webb. I myself have not had the pleasure.
A vision! I see an angel in white vestments.
Where am I? What day is it?
You are in my house. The house of Dr. Sharp. It is the day after yesterday. It is approximately 24 hours since you said, ouch. I'm sorry about that. Look at you now, though. You seem fine and healthy.
I remember the great event and a jab in my arm, and that's all.
How do you feel now?
I feel all right. No, I feel good, very good.
Oh, goodness gracious. It's His Highness, Saint Germain.
Thank you, Lord, for our lives rebirthed. Thank you, Lord, for our Shillingworth. The sun we adore, we need all our reign, but we only worship Saint Germain.
Formalities over. Good. Let me see the young man.
Move closer and face our Lord.
I am the young man.
Ursula at the bridge. Bring the large mirror. See for yourself, young man. The good Dr. Sharp has performed the great work. You have become rebirthed.
Ah! I look middle-aged. Is it a trick mirror?
The mirror is true. Look at the wrinkles on the back of your hands and feel the furrows on your brow. Do not be alarmed. In essence, you are still 28 and you will be strong and fit for many decades. Now then, boy, listen up. Forget about your stupid petrol. Forget about your family. Fate has chosen you. It is a fait accompli, a tour de force. Today's reality cannot be opposed. Your car has been impounded. Your wife would not recognize you if you escaped from Shillingworth, which is impossible. And If you told your story, you would be sectioned. It is what it is. Let us look after you. We will find work for you better than the washing of onions. Perhaps you would like to manage an antique shop, and if you desire, we can easily provide a choice of wives. Young sir, I name you Toby, spelt T-O-B-E. Toby Moore, you are one of us.
Trevor Lessing was played by Matthew Shelton Jones. Ursula by Jacqueline Harford. Bridge and Dr. Sharp by Guy Dixon. Mr. Webb and Saint Germain by Matt Reynolds. Mrs. Webb and the credits by Irene Cunningham. The narrator was Dave Patchett. The voice recording engineer was Stuart Conway. Editing and sound effects by Adam House Music.